everyone, and welcome to Thankful Thursday. I'm Ashley Lynn Caputo, and let's get started. So I'm going to walk on back here. So for tonight's topic, I chose yoga for a healthy lower back. So we're going to be thinking about ways to kind of prevent pain or injury in the lower back. So if you already have an injury, this practice may not be for you. And you always want to be mindful of whatever's going on in your body. So some of the basic premises before we get started that we'll cover are things that we can do outside of yoga. So we want to practice sitting and standing, even walking in proper alignment. Meaning, and it's so hard these days with all the zooming, I know I'm guilty. I'm like hunched forward, I'm like trying to see, so my neck is like projecting forward. But you want to think about almost sitting or standing or walking in your kind of yoga posture where, you know, your core is activated, your shoulders are stacked over your hips, your neck is in a line with the back of your torso, so everything's in a line. It makes it so much easier for the body to carry its weight naturally. We want to use that core support. When walking, sitting, standing, for most people, not everyone, feet are going to want to be kind of parallel, not toes turned out. I'm guilty of it as a former ballerina. Particularly though, not one foot more than the other. Again, some people have differences. I know from my recent hip replacement surgery that my right foot is trying to steer out a little bit to the right, so I'm being mindful of that. The reason for this is, you know, when we're turning our feet out, it's changing the piriformis kind of muscles, and we want to just be mindful of that so that everything is in proper alignment. We also want to be lifting up in the arches of our feet, especially when we're standing. So that's this part of your feet. You want to be lifting up in that and have the weight of both feet on all four corners. So if you're rolling your feet in, then, you know, you're going to have differences in, you know, the muscles that you're using. If you have all four corners of your feet being activated, then you're going to be lifting up evenly through your feet and bearing the weight evenly. Let's see, what other notes do I have? In our yoga classes or postures, if we're in a standing forward fold, anytime we're standing, we want to bend our knees just a little bit before coming up. If your knees are locked, you're going to be kind of using extra muscles that we don't necessarily need to be using, or possibly even hyperextending. All right. Okay, and so for today's practice, I use doTERRA essential oils to anchor into my meditation, so I chose grapefruit for today. Another oil, though, that is great for when you're having a little bit of sensitivity, kind of overexertion kind of thing, is Deep Blue. It comes in a rub, which I really like. It also has an oil, but I like the rub a lot for kind of muscle aches and stuff. It does have a little bit of that, you know, minty smell, but it uses blue tansy in it, so it's a nicer smell. All right, so to get started, we're going to come to our seated position here. All right, and so for today, we're going to take our hands just like this. They're slightly cupped. I'm going to come down around the abdomen. The palms are facing each other. And they're about 12 inches or so apart. Okay. We're going to begin that yogic breathing. So you can soften your gaze if you like, or close your eyes completely. I'm just going to begin to take those nice deep breaths. If you are a regular yogi, you'll know it as three-part or Dirga breathing. So you're inhaling, filling your belly, your ribs all the way up to your collarbones. Exhaling, reversing the direction. Drawing the navel slightly up and in. So just getting into that nice, relaxing, diaphragmatic breathing. This hand position in yoga is known as Vitam Mudra, which is the gesture of vital energy. And this hand position or mudra is going to help to open and balance the second chakra, our sacral chakra. It's the center of self-nourishment. It's also going to allow the breath to move into the pelvic floor, the abdominal areas, so it's going to kind of massage out that lower back. It aids us in relaxing the muscles of the lower back and helps to support the health of the urinary reproductive systems of the body, and it also assists in softening the ego or opening focus and balancing out the emotions. So as you're continuing to breathe here, I'd like to invite you to repeat the following mantra silently to yourself. The rhythm of my breath nourishes me and fills me with vital energy. The rhythm of my breath nourishes me and fills me with vital energy. Oprah Winfrey said, the key to realizing a dream is to focus not on success, but on significance. And then even the small steps and little victories along your path will take on greater meaning. And isn't it interesting, I wonder if you already know, that what you focus on is so incredibly important. When we pay attention to all the things that bring us joy and celebrate our small victories, we become even more happy and successful. You know, talking nicely to yourself is a great practice. We all have inner critics, so it can be extremely useful to take time every day to also say kind things to yourself. Even if it's just something simple like, "It's okay, sweetheart," or "Relax now." Perhaps even pausing when that inner dialogue becomes critical. I wonder if you would say those things out loud to someone you care about. It is possible to ask the inner critic what its purpose is. What does it want or need? Allowing it to reveal any subconscious motivations or limiting beliefs that you are now reframing with the simple act of mindful inquiry. So I'd like to invite you now to take a deep breath in and say something kind to yourself, like "Relax now," or "All is well." That's right. Good, good, good. And slowly coming back to the room, releasing the hands. You can shake them out a little bit if you like. Beautiful. And so we'll move into our practice now for yoga for the lower back. All right. And so if you're in a seated position, you might start by just kind of gently spiraling out. And keep drawing the abdomen up and in. Just loosening things up, seeing where you're at, taking notice. Being mindful and aware. Go slow or a little bit speedier if that feels right to you, depending on where you're coming from and your energy level. And then we'll sit upright. We'll take the left hand to the side. Inhale your right hand up and get a nice side stretch. You can look up or down. You want your neck to be comfortable. Take a couple breaths here. Feeling the breath flowing all the way up and down the spine. And then inhale your way back up and exhale over to that opposite side. Same thing, neck is comfortable, either head down or head up. Nice deep breathing, opening up. And then inhale your way back up. We'll do a few seated cat-cows, so exhale around. Inhale and arch the spine. And then exhale round, you're drawing your navel up and in here. So back and forth. Cat-cows are one of the greatest tools for loosening up that tension in the lower back. It's going to free up your spine, releases the tension, it works your hips, your spine, and your shoulders. Lovely. So we're going to come to all fours, known as table position. Just taking your time to get there. Table, we're going to do a few more of those cat-cows here. So your fingers are spread nice and wide. Your knees are hip distance apart. You're going to start in that, what we call a flat back. And then exhale and around. Inhale and arch. Really deepening. And so about 6 of these. And one more. And then come back to that nice flat spine. So we're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to come up to a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So in this one, we're going to keep our heels slightly lifted and our knees slightly bent. So this is going to accentuate the natural curve of the spine. So remember, this is yoga for lower back, health, and comfort. We're going to tuck our toes under and press those hips up and back. So you can pause and walk out your dog if you're feeling a little bit tight. So my dog is easy for me to get my heels down, but for our purposes today, I'm going to keep my knees bent and stay a little bit up on my tippy toes. So I'm getting my torso closer to my thighs. I can Shake my head no, nod it yes, breathing here. Really engaging my arm muscles, my shoulders, but relaxing my neck. So this is really getting that lower back nice and stretched out here. About 3 more breaths. If it feels good, you can stretch into a deeper dog and then lift up onto the balls of the feet. Bend the knees, straighten the knees, lower the heels, but not all the way. Again, lift onto the balls, bend the knees, straighten, lower, not quite all the way. One more time, balls of the feet, bend, stretch it out, gaze forward, and we're going to tippy-toe our feet up to the front of the mat. Your feet are going to be at least hip distance apart, and your knees again are soft. So you can bring a hand to each elbow and ragdoll it out. Make sure you do have a little bend in the knees, even if it's just a micro bend. You don't have to be swinging side to side, although it does open up the side body here. You can also let your hands dangle. And again, you can move the head side to side, yes and no. Taking those nice deep breaths here. And keep drawing the abdominals up and in. So we're releasing tension from the back of the neck, from the hips, the spine, even the shoulders here. Okay. So from here, we're going to take our right foot and step it back. We're coming into a nice low lunge. So you're going to lower that knee down. You can keep the toes tucked or flatten out the foot, whatever is comfortable for you. So you can have your hands on your hips, on blocks, or up into Anjasana. So just breathing here in low lunge, stretching out the hip flexors. You also have the hands behind the head if you want to open up the upper back and shoulders at the same time. So we're going to hold this one for about 3 breaths. Then bring the hands back down. I'm going to tuck the toes again. We're just going to shift back and forth. So whatever that looks like for you, you're just stretching it all out. And then we're going to step back to that downward facing dog, and we'll step the opposite leg forward. So my right hip is still a little bit tight from that hip replacement. But you want your knee to be kind of over that right ankle, hips square, and hands wherever they want to be for now. You can have them up in the regular position for the arms in Anjasana or on blocks, anywhere you like, just breathing. Then we're going to lower those hands down, tuck the back foot, and we're going to just rock it back and forth, stretching out the hip flexor again. Make your way back to that downward facing dog. Pausing here for a breath or 2. We're going to come forward into a plank pose. So hands are below your shoulders. And your back is nice and flat, except you're kind of rounding. You're pressing into your heels. You're going to place the left hand down. Pivot into side plank. So if side plank's not in your practice and you're pressing up, you can do a gate pose by placing the left leg down, or you can stack the right foot a little bit, stagger it a little bit behind. So we're building some core strength here, breathing. And then bring it on back. And go to the opposite side plank. If you prefer gate, knees down, or stagger your feet for balance. Breathing. Bring it on back to your plank. Lower the knees down for a moment. Take a break if you like. We're going to come to a forearm plank. So you want your elbows in the same alignment with your fingers. Tuck your feet behind you. Breathing here.
press your hips up and back and tippy-toe your feet in, keeping the knees soft. So we're in a soft dolphin. Your shoulders are engaged. Breathing here. So you're always welcome to add leg lifts if you need a little bit more, or even little hops. But we're keeping it pretty simple. Couple more breaths. Make sure you're not dropping down, but lifting up, pressing up now. And go ahead and lower the knees, press the hands into the mat. And pause and do a couple more of those cat-cows here. Beautiful. And press it back to your downward facing dog. Feel free to walk out the dog a little bit here. We're going to come forward into our regular plank. We're going to come all the way down to our bellies. If chaturanga is in your practice, you're welcome to do that on the way down. Once on the mat, you're going to lower all the way down to your belly. And our feet are about hip distance apart. So we're going to bring our hands next to our ribs here. Elbows are going to be back. Elbows are going to be in. Shoulders are going to be rolling back. We're going to press our toenails into the mat, engage all the muscles in our legs. Inhale up to a cobra. So you don't want to be dumping in your lower back. You don't want to be going into a place where there's any kind of discomfort in here. You're pressing into your legs to get using the whole body. And then lower down. Again, inhale it up. Lower it down. This time bring your hands out to the side. Spider up your fingers. Make sure the elbows are off to the sides. You can even part your feet a little wider if that's more comfortable. Same thing, pressing toenails in. And now rolling it. Inhaling up. Exhale it down. Continuing. And two more. So not going too far, just going to where you can comfortably feel a stretch. Go ahead and lower it down. You can pull up your hands, bend your knees, and windshield wipe them back and forth. So a couple other nice back bending stretches are your bow, your Dhanurasana, kind of like that. Or you can do different variations of locust. So we just wanted to get one simple back bend in there though. Alrighty? So we're gonna press back up to our table position. Sometimes it's nice to kind of shimmy the hips a little bit side to side here. Oh, Sphinx is a good one too. So you can be on your forearms, kind of pausing like this and just breathing. So your toenails are working once more. Just like dolphin, elbow finger alignment, shoulders back and down. Breathing. So we're doing a lot to not only stretch the back, but to strengthen the core that supports the lower back. And now we'll come to that table pose. And again, you can shimmy the hips a little bit if you like. So we're going to come up to downward facing dog. And then I'm going to move us into a pigeon pose. If pigeon's not in your practice, you're welcome to come to a child's. We'll meet you there. We will do a supine pigeon later, but you could always do that now as well. If you need a blanket under one of the hips, have that around, pillow, anything you like. So coming into that downward facing dog, go ahead and inhale, right leg up. Bring the knee in. You're going to set your knee down next to your right wrist. Spin that right foot a little bit towards the left. Keep your left toes tucked behind you. I need, with the right hip, a little bit of propping still for comfort. You can also have a bolster or pillow in front of you if you like for comfort. So you want your hips to be nice and square here. And once you have that, you can then fold forward. So we're stretching out that real piriformis hip. A lot of times when we have lower back, sciatic kind of pain, sometimes it doesn't really stem from directly the lower back. It comes kind of from our hips. So that's why we want to loosen up those muscles too. They connect in the lower back. So just breathing here. come up, you're gonna press up out of that. I'm gonna move my blanket and my props out of the way. Tuck the left foot. Lift your right leg up. You can bend it, shimmy it, shake it around, walk it out in dog, anything you like. And of course we'll do the other side. So inhale your left up, knee to nose. Set that left knee down next to left wrist. Slide the left foot closer to the right. Straighten out your right leg, stretching out the hip flexor, aligning your hips. Get a little flex in that front foot. Lengthen through the spine and then fold it forward, keeping the hips square, getting into the hip flexors, piriformis, opening it all up. Nice deep breathing here. One more breath. Of course, you can hold longer at home if you like. Hands under shoulders, lengthen up, tuck the back toe. Oops. Bring that left leg back up, bend it, circle it, shake it out, walk it out, anything you like. We're gonna come back down to our table position, and we'll slide back into that child's pose. So you're welcome to part the knees if you like. And slide back. Your hands can be stretching out in front of you. Maybe even spider up your fingers to release anything. You can rock your forehead. Nice deep breathing, feeling the breath all the way up to the shoulders and down to the lower back. Maybe you let those hands relax. You can also bring the hands back if that's more comfortable. Abdominal muscles are still engaging. And then when ready, gently bring it up. Knees will come together. And we're gonna sit facing forward. Maybe you bounce out your legs a little bit. All right, and let's see. So we're gonna do a seated twist. So I'm gonna bend my left knee and cross my right leg over. I want both of my sits bones to be on the ground now. And so I'm going to lift my left arm and bring my left elbow to the inside. You can also wrap it around. The right arm will come behind. I'm going to inhale and lengthen and exhale and twist. Again, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more. Twist. Going as far as comfortable. So this is really getting not only your back but also your hips. I'm going to come back to the center. And uncross, maybe you windshield wipe forward here. And then of course we'll switch sides. And so again, getting those sits bones down. So right elbow come onto left knee, left arm circles behind. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, twist to the back. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. One more, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist, and then unwind. Go ahead and bounce or shake them out. And so there's our boat or Navasana, which is another core strengthener. So moving any flesh away from those sits bones, your two little bones underneath. So not your tailbone, but the bottoms of your hip, your tubule, you know what I mean, tuberosities, ischial tuberosities, okay? So you want your back to be straight and your belly to be in. You can kind of have your toes tapping or lift them up. You can also lift your hands up. Your knees can be bent or straight. You want to take some nice deep breaths here, holding for a little bit, really engaging the core. If you're strong in your core, you can lower and lift, maybe 5 or 10 times. I'll just do 5. And then bring the feet back down. I'm going to bring my hands to the front of my shins. And I'm going to do a few more cat-cows in this position. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Again. And last one. Nice. So I'm going to stretch my legs out, and I'm going to flex my feet. I want to press the backs of my legs into the mat. So our forward fold, or Paschimottanasana, is going to be really instrumental in stretching out the lower back too. I'll probably turn sideways here. So you want those feet nice and flexed. You don't have to have a block at the end. So you can have your hands down anywhere that's comfortable, but you want the spine to be long. So you're going to inhale, lengthen, exhale, bring it forward. And then again, inhale, lengthen, maybe you round here. Again, round. And so gazing kind of at your toes, so even your neck is elongated. You don't want your head up, but you know, one nice long spine here, and just breathing. Next exhale, deepen and hold. And slowly round your way up. So if reverse plank is part of your practice, you can do that to counter pose and to stretch your core, or you can just arch your back. So your reverse plank looks like that. Gently lower it down. And feel free to bounce out your legs. So we're going to begin to come down. You can engage your core to do so. Rolling it all the way down. And we'll do our supported bridge pose. So you can use a block, 3 sides, baby bear, mama bear, papa bear, I like to say. For most people, the lower 2. I really like the higher, but I'm going to practice with a medium for today. So it goes just about where my tailbone is, in the center. I'm going to kind of relax here. It should feel comfortable. If it's not comfortable, please just skip it. Hands can be wherever you are, but you're going to have that belly inflating with the breath. So you're kind of giving the back a massage with your breath in the block here. So even though we're stretching in our forward fold, we want to counter pose it by back bending. So anytime we do a forward fold, we do a back bend. In a yoga class, we'll move in the 6 cardinal directions of the spine. So you'll have lateral bend right, lateral bend left, twist right, twist left, forward fold, back bend, and then there's the length and extension that some people consider the 7th cardinal movement too. And so a couple more breaths here. And then lift up, remove your prop, very slowly lower down. Feel free to windshield wipe those knees once more if you like. So we're going to hug our knees into our chest here. That's called Apanasana. So my right knee doesn't come in as much as my left because of surgery, but it's getting there. And you want to keep your tailbone down, your chin tucked. You can rock side to side. So you're massaging your lower back in this position. It's nice for, they call it Apanasana. It's a wind relieving, so it's good for the digestive tract as well. From here, if you like, you can open up to Happy Baby. That can be done by holding onto the bottom of the feet, the ankles, anywhere that's comfortable for you. Again, this isn't very accessible to me yet, but again, you can be rocking your spine. You do want your tailbone to be down, your chin tucked, so I'm going to stay with my knees. But if the Happy Baby feels good to you, please feel free to add that. And then we're going to move into our final spinal twist. So for the lower back, it's kind of good to keep both knees kind of bent, I think. And we're going to scoot the hips over to the right, arms come off to each side. And gaze to your left shoulder. Take your knees towards the right and then readjust so your left shoulder comes down, keeping your knees as much on top of each other as possible. You can always bring that right hand onto the top of the left thigh. You're going to take those nice deep breaths here. coming back to the center, scoop the hips back, and then scoop them the opposite way. And you're going to gaze to your right and bring the knees to the left. Stack the knees and then readjust so the right shoulder flattens out. You can bring the left hand onto the right. Just breathing, softening, letting go. And you feel even on both sides. Bring those legs back up. Reposition yourself so you're straight and centered on your mat. And if you want one more hug, feel free to do that. And then we're going to lengthen all the way out. Stretch it long and tall. Bring the hands down. Inhale, tense it up. Hold the breath. Hold, hold, hold. Exhale, release. Again, inhale, tense up everything as much as you can. Hold the breath. Hold, 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 hold. And then exhale, release. One more time. Inhale, tense it up. Hold, tense up even more. Lift up higher, taller. Hold the breath, make a funny face. Hold, hold, hold. And then exhale and just let go. Moving into that final resting position. If you like to add a blanket or anything for comfort, feel free. Finding your Shavasana. Just letting go. There's nothing left for you to do. Nowhere to go. Just be. Allowing the breath to deepen. And feeling the whole body relaxing down into the ground. Just existing. Perhaps scanning the body. Enjoying the fruits of your practice. Slowly allowing the breath to return to normal. Letting movement back into fingers and toes. Maybe you turn your head gently side to side. Perhaps licking the lips, moving the jaw. Maybe circling wrist and ankles. And gently returning to some movement. On your next inhale, lengthen your arms and legs out long and tall on your mat, like the biggest good morning stretch ever. On the exhale, hug the knees back into the chest one final time, rocking the spine out. And then rolling off to your right side, fetal position, using your right forearm, your right arm as a pillow, just resting there. Noticing what you notice.
As it becomes right to you, press that right elbow, left palm of the hand into the mat, using your upper body strength. Begin to circle your hands around, coming back to a seated position. If you like, you can bring your hands to prayer, Anjali Mudra. If you'd like to join, thumbs come to forehead for honest thought, lips for honest speech, and heart for honest intention. Namaste, the light in my heart shines in the light in yours. And Om Shanti, 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 peace. And so thank you all so much for joining Thankful Thursday today. If you have a topic that you're interested in seeing addressed in another Thankful Thursday, please reach out. I'd be more than happy to structure a class around that. I'm available for private yoga instruction, private yoga therapy, hypnotherapy, aromatherapy with doTERRA oils, Reiki training, and bowl healing. We do appreciate, we put all of our Thankful Thursdays up on YouTube within 24 hours. So we do appreciate anyone following us on YouTube. It's Ashley Lynn Computer. And that's all we have for today. So thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you find something to be thankful for today. Bye.